All right. There we go. I got it to work. Let me see. Let me fix it. Okay, here we are. Hello. Thank you. Hey, DC girl. Hello. Welcome to my live. I'm kind of struggling. I'm starting out struggling. Let me go to my comments. Okay. Thank you for being here. Okay. Welcome to the Golden Sphere podcast. So the topic of today is going to be by culturally black biracials versus culturally white biracial. So this is going to kind of apply to people who are like mulatto, mixed white and black. I do want to hear about other cultural experiences though, because I don't think nobody else be beefing like this. If you half black and then half Asian, I don't think they'd be beefing like this. Like I don't know if those cultures collage like white and black cultures do. They're like the complete opposites of each other. Hey girls, hello, hi, welcome. Hi, thank you for being here. So I want to talk about do we inherit our culture from our mothers? Because that's something that is so common that I see people talk about that we inherit our but I feel like okay, so I have a black mother, but I felt like she raised me more around like white culture. So I kind of inherited that culture more. So I disagree. Hey girl, hey mulatto mermaid. Hi, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. But yeah, like I'm saying, I disagree with the fact that like we don't really I think I did inherit some things, but I feel like my mom, she's like more culturally like white. Like she would try to disprove like every black stereotype. Like she every day at work she'd be on time. Like everything she would try to like disprove every like black stereotype. She would always just try to like go hard against stereotypes for black. I don't know. She's a really cool. She's really amazing. But I don't know. I feel like, but she loves her people. Like I know I'm not like a product of self hate because she loves being around her people. But she moved. I'm a product of proximity. Just happened to meet a white person, and then here I am, right? But yeah, like I'm saying, I don't think we get our culture from our mothers. More so, we get our cultures from our environment. So I've experienced both sides though. Like I grew up more in like white culture and then I moved to yeah, it depends on which culture is exactly. It say but in Blasian community it is black mom versus oh damn y'all be going through that too. Damn. But yeah, I do think it's like a product of environment because my mom she was working a lot so I didn't really like I don't know, she didn't like pass down a culture to me. Like she didn't really cook like that. You know what I'm saying? She was working her ass off. Like she didn't even really cook like that. So, I took it upon myself to like learn like the culture, like the southern foods and like the soul foods. Like that's something that, her mom was a stay at home. We got to be the opposites of our mom. So her mom was a stay at home mom and then she did all that. My mom, she worked then now I'm a stay at home mom and then I wanted to learn all those cultural aspects and stuff because I wanted to feel a connection because somebody said like when you're like half white, it's like a cultural like blanket. Like there's like I don't know, like okay, like my DNA test, like I'm like half Irish, all these other like European countries that I don't feel a connection to really. An American culture, like on my white side, it's like a cultural blank space. Like it's like I don't know. It's like not there. Like they say when white people have no culture, I think it's kind of like true because in general American culture, it's like everyone trying to preserve their own cultures and then a lot of cultures it's weird. It's a weird thing. I would love for somebody I hate sitting here talking to myself. I feel so awkward. If anybody want to come up here, let me drop the link in the comments real quick. I would love for anybody. I think this stems more from influence around as opposed to your parents are and contribute. I would love Georgia, can you come save me real quick? I would love for you to come up here and talk about it. Let me drop the link real quick for you guys. Hold on, real quick, y'all. Let me drop the link. Yeah, I would love for somebody to come and talk to me about this because I'm trying to understand it. Like this is all I'm here to do is trying to. There's no university courses on this. There's no, you know, I learned best by like communication. Oh, somebody's come. Thank God. You are my ride or die. I swear to God. Like, thank you so much for freaking coming. I be
Yeah, anytime.
floundering. I be floundering. I'm trying to talk to myself. I be floundering. But yeah, I like having like conversations. But I'm gonna go back to your comment, what you said. It says I think it stems more from influences around who you're opposed to. Exactly. That's what I think it is. You can contribute to your culture upbringing, but still have a mind of your own. But I feel like, yeah. I do think it is environment. Whatever type of environment, I think us as biracial people, we're all over the place. We're all raised in different environments, and I've been experienced on both sides. So it's like I experienced the negative and the positive of like white culture. Hello, Jade Fader Jake. Thank you for being here. I experienced the negative and the positive of white culture and lack thereof culture too. And I experienced a negative positive of like black culture. There's a lot of positive people. There's a lot of positive things about it. And I feel like people who are only raised in like white culture, they only see the negative in black culture. And the people who are raised only in black culture, they only see the negatives in white culture. They don't see the positive. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like there's a lot of clashes here because like if they try to be like if we're in a space and one person's like culturally black and the other person's culturally like all you're doing is all they only see the negatives in each other's cultures in each other, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a big problem in our spaces, so I just wanted to, what do you think about that?
So it's just like people are a lot more comfortable in their echo chambers as opposed to things that may contradict their positions.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they become very comfortable in their own bubbles. They lay
Exactly.
out their own stats, their
They
own
don't
facts
travel.
as to like what constitutes like the other group.
Mm-hmm.
But then when there's now other info out there that actually disproves that or just, provides like a different perspective, then all of a sudden it's people act like it's World War III.
Exactly,
But that's
exactly.
just why in this space I would like for us to actually expand on our horizons, accept,
Mm-hmm.
like challenges out there such as like the challenge of stepping outside of your echo chamber and actually just showing how humble you can be in terms of admitting that you are wrong about something.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
like it is in my belief as a Christian is that God is going to exalt the humble, but you can't
Yep.
be humble if you're going to be cooped up in your echo chamber. But that's just me.
Absolutely. Look, it says, I know a lot of white people that don't focus on the negatives. So I agree. I don't think we should focus on the negatives. Like if somebody has a different cultural upbringing, I think that we should explore it and try to understand where they're coming from and stuff. This was my experience of like growing up, like with the white people. I moved to Atlanta when I was 16. So like my first like middle school and first 2 years of high school and stuff like was so it was like everything they seen. I think maybe it's changed now. I don't know. That was a long time ago. But my upbringing, my experience was they judge like everything based on media. Like they don't really know that if you're not really exposed to that many black people or you don't know that many black people, what you see on media is what you think like black people really are. So they really thought like black people were like, they associate blackness with like hood and ghetto and ratchet and this and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that is what's glorified in the media the most when it comes to black people. And that is a problem, like there's so much more to like black culture than just like,
Yeah.
the worst parts of it being glorified. And
Yeah. And like don't get
you're
me wrong,
never
like
gonna
that
know.
you still
You're
have like a lot of like toxic elements in
mm-hmm.
all these different cultures. So but just that's just gonna come with any kind of culture because I
Exactly.
mean like a lot of us like to say that well look at what's going on in Asian culture, so is that they love to eat dogs, but that's just the only thing that we're going to ever recognize about Asian culture, though. But actually, I think there is some, some more avenues to explore in regards to that because it's not all bad and all doom and gloom as people are liking to make it out to be. Now,
Right,
although some of that
exactly.
is true, though, but then they can just easily point something about our flawed culture, and then next thing you know, you're just in a back and forth shenanigan.
Exactly. But like I was saying, exactly. It's like you're never gonna know and unless you're around the people, like you're never gonna see the positive and the wonderful people who come from the culture. You're only gonna see the negative. There is a lot of negativity, but there's also positive and loving. And then that I feel like as biracial people, it's so important for us to like find the positive in both sides of ourselves, so we don't like become like self hating and like hate one side of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like I encourage that in biracial people. That we find the positive. We don't just like hate one side of our culture or because they associate it with so much negativity. Like find something positive in it that you love about it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I encourage that. Hold on, let me address this comment. Say for me, it's not as simple. Not all white people are the same within the American. Exactly in the American and Western. So what do you mean? Exactly. I was thinking about that too. I can only speak on my experience. So I was raised in I was born in California. I was like 5 years old when we left California. And then I was raised in like Washington State, right? So that's kind of what I'm going by. But it's like people in Washington State because regionally everybody's different, so I could only go by my own. That's why I'm not like an expert on like everybody has different experiences within, especially in America's really big. So I can only speak about my experience, like growing up in Washington, and then my experience of living in Georgia, and then coming back to Washington. So that's all I can speak of. And it says just because a person comes from another culture doesn't mean they have hatred. Exactly. I agree. Maybe they'll have different ideas that align, but that's not the same as race. Oh, I agree. I agree. That's why I'm having this conversation, because I feel like there's a lot of misunderstandings. Like, I definitely feel like there's a lot of misunderstandings and maybe subconscious biases, because look, people really do associate like black and white people are enemies and they're opposed to each other. So that's why it's such a problem. Like, that's why it's so hard for us in our space. Like, this is the conflict. Like, this causes so much conflict in our spaces because these prisoners are they're completely opposites culturally. So of course there's going to be clashes. That's why I think we should try to find understanding and common ground with each other. I don't think it's coming from a place of hatred. I just think it's coming from a place, misunderstanding leads to miscommunication, leads to conflicts, which leads it's like a snowball effect that needs to be addressed. And oh, there's another guest. Oh, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Toenail. Hey, we
How
so
you
far have caught
doing?
each other on three
Good
different
title.
streams. On Angries, on Mulatto Vanguards, and now on
I
this.
appreciate you. Thank you for coming up here. This is your first time up here. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for
Yeah,
being
and I
here.
also just
Hey,
listened to your
Gigi.
interview too.
I
Wow, yes,
appreciate
I'm
you.
I'm running full time today. I'm booked for three today. Yeah, this is my third one. I hope I don't get a fourth one later. I think I'm gonna call it quits after this one.
Yeah, I take a break, right? Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, it does get mentally exhausting after a while.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Carry
it,
it's
on.
it
work.
does.
It's a lot of work trying to get our people together. You know what I'm saying? Trying to
So
talk about these things. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to chime in on something that was said in regards to white culture. It's all the same. It's being the same. No, it's not. It's not being the same. It's just like African American culture within itself. You're going to have different concepts, different precepts,
Exactly.
depending on where you're
Subgroups.
at. If you're up north, south, or in your west coast, east coast, etc., there's going to be some variances and differences between them.
Yep.
So one of the things is that when we speak about white culture, even I believe even white people themselves have a problem with even perceiving with even perceiving that itself.
Hmm.
It's okay. So first of all, what is the definition of culture? It's way of life. It's the way that you do things. It has to deal with music, the way
Exactly.
how you talk, the way you talk, you way you represent yourself.
Hmm.
So let's say, for instance, I'm walking down in a white community, right? And I
Hmm.
see the people, and then I say, hello, hello, hello. And then versus I walk down another white community and I say, good
A little
morning,
rude.
good
Oh,
afternoon,
okay.
good
Yeah.
evening. Do you know the difference? That is cultural influence,
Hmm.
because culturally I was raised up to say good morning. And any white person who grew up back in the mid 1900s, or I would refer to them as the baby boomers, when they hear
Hmm.
this, the first thing that comes to their mind is, I wonder where whom was his or her parents, where they grew up on. Sounds like they're cultured in that
Hmm.
particular sense. So you also to have different type of white groups. Sometimes you have the rednecks, that
Yep.
you have rednecks, and you
The
have those that are
rednecks.
non-rednecks. They are not the
Yep.
same.
Facts.
They are
It's
not the
true.
same.
Is it
They
like a
have
class thing though? Like I feel like within I was thinking about that too, how there's like different classes and educational levels and income, how that influences culture. Because of course, like people who are making money, they're gonna have a way different culture because they have more access and more exposure to more resources. So they're gonna live a completely different lifestyle than somebody who is struggling. So there's always gonna be like classes within every like group. There's always going to be subcultures. And like I'm so happy you brought that up because it's funny because when I was like in high school, I didn't really identify with like the main, not the mainstream, I don't know what to call it, like the main, like, okay, it was like in high school, in like my little white high school I went to, it was like the preppy kids. Those were like the mainstream, like that's like the main, I don't know. And then there was like the other like rocker, those like a subgroup. I feel like I identified with them more because they were like more like the outcast because I didn't really feel like I identified with like the main like dominant culture of like the school and the place I was living in. So I always felt like identified more with like the subculture, like the little rockers. I had like a little emo phase and stuff. So it was like a subgroup or a subculture within white culture that I felt I gravitated towards. I felt like more accepted. I felt like I could be myself more. So that's kind of like, yeah, there is like always going to be subgroups and different people who veer off and create their own little it's interesting, So I think that's happening in our space too. Like I'm saying, like it's going to be people who create different subcultures and subgroups, and everybody, everybody has like a different way of life and how they want to live and have different desires, right? Because I was watching this really amazing story about like these rowers, how they rowed across the Atlantic Ocean, and they were united because they had the same strong desire to want to do it. So it's like I think first in these spaces we need to figure out who we are because you're not going to know what you want until you figure out who you are, right? So I think we got to figure out who we are. We got to figure out what we want, align with people who want the same things, and that's how we're going to create our different like cultures and what we want in our lives by figuring out like what do we really want, so we could align with people who want the same things, right? So what do you think about that, sir?
Well, it's a bit kind of complicated to actually speak on that particular part. Is because one of the things that I've noticed is throughout the years of finding other people similar to myself or other mixed race people as myself, it does not mean that we always necessarily get along.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
We are. I'm going to be realistic here, and many of us in here would reflect on that. We do have a tendency of gravitating towards either more white or more black or more Asian than being
Mm-hmm.
around people that are ourselves.
Right. Exactly.
And we tend to be, my opinion, I think be a little bit more territorial of the
Mm.
groups that we are around. One of the things that I
Mm-hmm.
noticed is that among the white community that I grew up in, and my white friends of having, and the
Mm-hmm.
little speckles of mixed race people that were around, we acknowledge each other.
But it
We
was
acknowledge
like,
each other as being mixed, etc. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
really? Well, I say, yeah, your mom's white. Oh, yeah, my mom's white too. Oh man, cool. But one of the things that we never did is we never invaded or we never mixed in each other's like the little cell groups that we were with. I
Mm-hmm.
remember a couple of my friends. Them we talked, we acknowledged each other, but we never became part of that little cluster. We stayed to our own cluster,
Yeah, that's
and
true. That's
we stay to
facts.
our we stay to our own clusters, and yeah, it's a great idea to say, yeah, we go, but in reality, it's a great idea to say that, hey, listen, it's great that we all can get along. Yeah, we can have a discussion about things to move forward, but in reality, what separates us is culture.
Exactly. Yep.
It has nothing to
Facts.
do with because I'm mixed race and you're mixed race. Oh yeah, okay, we should be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work like that. It has to
It
do with
don't.
culture.
We don't. Yeah.
Is having the same interests and being on the same level and common interests with
Exactly.
with one another. I mean,
Yep.
if I say, hey, listen, I like Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin. How many
Yeah, I
people
like
here like
them.
Pink
I
Floyd and
do them.
Led
I was
Zeppelin?
raised on that. My father, he raised me on like Pink Floyd and like old school rock
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah,
There's a couple of
definitely.
people here may not
Mhm.
like EDM. There's a couple of people here may not like bungee jumping. There's a couple of people here may not like water skiing or going surfing, etc. I grew up surfing as well too. So there's a lot of us might not be into that because
I like surfing. I always wanted
um,
to go surfing. That's awesome.
I used to get antagonized by why you always doing stuff what white people do because I like to do that stuff that they
Oh
like to do.
God,
It just
right.
so happens.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all
Yes.
went through this
Yeah,
with
even
it.
my sister's like fully black, right? And then she likes to go like hiking and doing like out being outdoors in nature. And she says she experiences a lot of like rejection from black people because over her being more like culturally like white or whatever, she experiences a lot of rejection and stuff like that. So it's like it's crazy, like culture, like yeah. And it's like if we don't, that's why I think that like in these spaces, I do want to like build our own culture. That's kind of like what I got from Caesar Cannon because he was like, I remember watching a video about like we don't really have our own culture. Like we need to start building like our own. So I kind of was like, yeah, I think that's a good idea because if we're always like in these spaces, if I think we should let go. I think that's so hard though. I don't think it's hard to let go of like our cultural identity. You know what I'm saying? To try to like bring on a new one that hasn't been created. That's like not even if you're trying to establish a new like I don't know how that works. I don't know how people can try to let go of something that's already established, that's already there, and try to like come together with people on the internet and create something new. Like I don't know how if that's even possible. But yeah, I want to address a lot of people associate ghetto ratchet in these spaces. My black side of the family is freaking Cosby, not the Cosby, a little black sin. Exactly. That's something that people are always insulting people about. You know, oh, you a black, you Pookie and Ray. Like we're always sitting here like using it as an insult. Like, you know what I'm saying? Trying to like because yeah, we do criticize like I said, we've all like criticized like other both sides of our cultures. But now I'm not. I can't even. I feel like we have no room to even criticize nobody's community because our community, you know, we got to focus on fixing issues in our community. Like our community is a whole mess. So it's like that's why I feel like I don't have any room to criticize nobody else's community no more. And so we come up and do big things popping and try to do good things in our community, then we could say something. But until then, I don't feel like I have no room to talk about nobody else. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't know how that works. How do you think we could build a culture? How does that work? Like, does it happen naturally? Or I want to hear from George.
So yeah, I
What
had
you
actually
think?
been thinking about something though. So at least here in America, I think we may already have a culture that we may not even be aware of, or perhaps there's like a cultural feature that hardly anyone in here has really spoken about. So like also like we define culture as even like a set of like behaviors too, or a set of how you perceive things or how you even react to things. Those are also like qualities as to, like what constitutes a culture.
Right.
So I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area for majority of my life, born and raised in Berkeley until I moved down here to Las Vegas, Nevada. So growing up, I do remember a lot of people such as ourselves, like, pointing each other out or asking us, hey, how are you doing? Hey, we have something in common. And then moment we would ask each other that question, we know exactly what we're talking about. Because there's just one time where even I've done something like that, which was when I was in a grocery store. I saw this other woman who was like the female version of me. She was fair skinned. She had, like blue eyes and like kind of like my hair color too. And I said, hey, we have something in common. And she knew exactly what we were talking about. And then some other day, I actually had someone else ask me the same question. I know what you're talking about. I think that in itself can actually be a cultural feature that we actually do have here. Because I've even seen this too, even across the country, given the fact that I visited 30 states, and I've seen the same pattern too. I think that in itself can actually be kind of a cultural feature that we may have here in America, because two black people are not going to say, hey, we have something in common, or two white people aren't going to say that, but we certainly say it and ask it.
So you think sharing a phenotype that's like kind of the foundation of like building a culture, basically.
It can be, though, as well as like how we may perceive things and what we may even ask to each other.
Oh, thank you for everybody for being here. I wanted to say something about
But
uh,
that's just me. It's just kind of an observation that I've noticed just growing up.
mhm.
But I think that in itself can actually be a cultural feature that we may not really give a whole lot of credit to.
Do you have anything I want to address with Albion? Bluish Gelato said I have. I can't exactly. That's how I feel. I feel like that's the worst part of like the white cultures I've been a part of. The food culture is horrible. That's very well known and it's sad. I feel like it's a big part of life. Food is like a big part of life. So that's kind of lacking and it's kind of like. But anyways, Toenail Breaker, do you have anything to say? Like, how do people build a culture from scratch? Like, how does that work? Like, how do you guys think that we could because I always think, I do feel like in these spaces we take the worst of each culture sometimes. Like, here's a theory. Here's a theory. Are we socially at the bottom of like both? People always say like we're put on a pedestal in the black community, but I think like we're socially still at the bottom of like each community. Like I'm a white and I can only speak for myself. I don't know about, but are we socially at the bottom, so we take on the worst aspects of each community? Because they say the more money a biracial person has, it was like a study, the more culturally white they identify as. So I don't know, do we like
That is more than likely very extremely true. And this, let me
mhm
explain to you this. The more culturally white that they are, yes, the more money they are going to make because it's the mentality behind of it.
mhm
There is a strong mentality of a cultural rearing up that individual that mixed race person basically went through.
mhm
So, if you grew up being a program that you're that if you grew up with the mentality of victimhood, you're not going to get
yeah,
anywhere.
you're not gonna get nowhere. That's like a mindset. Like I always think about that. Ideas are like viruses, right? They could infect that's kind of like what culture is, just a bunch of ideas that have spread and that people have took on and believed and passed around, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, they're like ideas that are just socially and widely accepted by your group or your tribe of people, right? So yeah, and that's scary. That's why I think I like what Briella said. You got to be very careful about what you take on, because you got to make sure culture is supposed to be something that like benefits your people. Somebody was saying this. I remember somebody, it was a black man. He was saying how black people really don't have a culture, because they were saying how like a culture is supposed to be something like practices that uplift and benefit you, but he was like black people don't have that. And I was like, that it was really interesting to me. I was like, because he was saying about how like he was talking about that, like the victim mindset, and like how people are against education, and you know the crabs in the bucket all those things hurt black people. So it's like that's not really culture. Culture is supposed to be something that uplifts you, like like how in other cultures, how marriage is a very, very important value in other people's culture. Like that's something that benefits their culture, and that helps them, making sure like their family values aren't their families are intact, and so their communities are intact, and that's something that helps them. So that's something I believe in. Of course, I believe in marriage. I believe in family. I believe in that's the foundation of any community, right?
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and like after studying culture for some time, though, culture in itself is just going to always like have bad and good aspects to it. So yes,
Mhm.
in Black American culture, I mean, like the bad aspect is the victim mentality, because you're not going to ever get anywhere if you're always saying that you have an oppressor or whatever.
Mhm.
But then actually, the good thing that is in Black culture, especially down south where a lot of my family are from,
Mhm.
a lot of them, are religious and Christian, and they
Mhm.
actually
There's a
have
lot of
some strong,
religion.
yeah, some
Mhm.
strong ties to the
Spiritual
Southern,
beliefs.
yeah, exactly, to the Southern Baptist Church. And even in actually some parts of Mississippi and Louisiana, a lot of them even embrace their Catholic faith too.
I
Since,
do love that about
yeah,
black culture. It's very spiritual. It's very spiritual connection. There's all different type of I've witnessed like Jehovah Witnesses. I remember I was a Jehovah Witness at one point or whatever, and they're really deep into it, But
yeah,
it's something that wasn't compatible with me, because I like holidays, so I was like, I can't do this. But yeah, I do love that. Like I love the spiritual. I feel like that's lacking, like in white. I don't know. Have you ever been to like a black church and a white church? Like there's such a big
I've
difference.
been
Like
to both.
it's such
I've
a
been
big
to both. They're
difference.
both of them are very different.
It's so
I
different.
will I
Like
will go to a I will go well back in the days I'm Muslim now, so but anyhow
mhm.
back in the days when I was hauled off to basically to go to church, I would choose a white
Hello.
church any time of the day because
Oh
for the same
Lord.
for the reason why
You don't like fish
simple reason
fries?
for the simple reason why is because they're shorter. They're like 30
Oh
minutes,
yeah.
45 minutes instead of 3
They
hours,
hey, the
4
fish
hours.
fries be popping though. You know them little fish fries they be doing to like don't like to raise money. Those be good though. But yeah, that's hilarious. That's so true. They're very, very it's such a huge difference. Like it is. Like I don't know if they put more emotions into it. I think,
There is a
it's a more
lot more
a
there's a
lot
lot more
more
emotions
emotions,
involved into it.
exactly, and that has its negatives and positives, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, like, being emotional in every situation, that gets you in trouble, like, if you're very emotionally reactive. But if you're emotional when it comes to, like, you know, black people making music and, like, putting their heart and soul into their food and putting your heart and soul into what you do, I think that's a beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying? I think that's gorgeous. I think that's wonderful, like, I think there's always negative and positives to everything. So it's like we got to be like real. So we got to be really conscious and aware about like what we're taking on and not just be on autopilot and making sure that like in our spaces we're taking on the best and representing because I think do you feel like mixed people we do represent like both sides of ourselves, right? If I'm white and black, I don't know. Do people only see the black side, or I feel like I represent both sides of myself. So I do want to represent like both sides of myself well, and myself. Like it's like I'm three people at once. I feel like I feel like I feel like I'm three people at once. Sometimes I feel like okay, I'm a white person this day, and next day I'm like a black person, and then some days like I'm trying to just like freaking like fuse it all together so I could just be one person, not have like different personalities. Like it's like cultural schizophrenia when you're like it's it's a lot. So I'm just trying to like I want to be just one freaking being and
Well, I
just
mean, you can. All of us can. The thing about it is what you see. Here's the problem with it, where it gets, where I think it gets. I don't have a
hmm
problem with it. I'm exactly the way how I am speaking now is the same exact way how I speak with basically with blacks or I speak
that's
with
good.
whites.
You don't do the code switching.
I do not code switch. Is if you don't like me
I've
who
done
I
that.
am, then
I've definitely done that
that's it.
before.
Now listen, there are some white people that I would do a fist dap to. There are
hmm
some white people. It's just it depends on what the feel is that I'm getting from this person. Of course, if I see a guy
Yeah.
in basically a suits and a tie, and he's up there in the top tier level, I'm going to shake his hand. I'm not going to give him a dap. I'm gonna
Right.
give him a dap and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, man. Can I give you a dap instead? I just like sneezed in my hand. I'm having a cold. I just dap you this way, you know.
hmm
We could, do stuff like that, so you could use it back and forth. Just depends on the person that you're speaking to, because believe it or not, there's a lot of white people that grew up around black influences, and they
Yeah,
could.
for sure.
Sometimes you don't have to code switch on it, but I tried to
hmm
make it as very neutral and very static as much as possible and not to have to code switch. What
Right.
I try to do is try to adapt to that individual to make them more comfortable in that
hmm
particular sense.
Exactly. I do the same thing. I try to it's like people are it's not that they speak a different language, but it's like I don't know how to explain it, but it is different. Like some people, you try to adapt to like so you could communicate with them properly. Because some things you say to like a black person, you try to say the same thing to like a white, they want to understand it. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? There's some things that are just culturally understood within this group of people, and then you can't say it to this other group of people because they wouldn't understand like the references or they're not. But let me address.
I find
Oh, go
that
ahead. Sorry.
like no, it's all right. No,
hmm
it's just I find that code switching is just going to like backfire on you though, because you can see how whatever you're trying to do here is just not feeling natural and organic for you. So
Right.
then like the other person, they can see that and they can just see that you're just putting on a front.
Right.
So you're the
Facts.
one who ends up getting hurt the
You gotta just
most.
keep it
Than they.
100. Yeah, you gotta just keep it
Yeah.
100 about who you are. Because there's some things, like I said, I grew up in white culture and I moved down to black. I didn't really change, but of course, like naturally, if you're in a different environment, you're gonna pick up on different things. You know, you're gonna adapt to the environment differently. So I did pick up a lot of from that environment. And then it's kind of like it's kind of worn away since I moved to another. I'm always adapting to like whatever environment. That's natural. Like survival of the fittest. That means like whoever fits into the environment the best will thrive the best. So that's what that's all about. Like fitting into your environment the best. Let me say it. Okay, let me address some of these comments. So in black culture, consistency is that are at the bottom and whites are at the top. So how do people who oppress you who are oh my gosh. That's yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, we gotta talk about that. It's a another part of black culture that might be good is there always a line in the way. There's always a reason. There's always a reason not to do something. Oh, like I know what you mean. Hold on. I say I have been in both. Yeah, exactly. Me too. I've been in both. I've been in both. And I feel like I want to be able to relate to like since I've been in both, it's like I feel like I relate best to other biracial people who has experienced both too. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't really relate to like actually, it's funny. My husband, he's more culturally black. He's biracial, but he's more culturally black because he was raised in black culture. He never met his dad. Both of his older siblings are both full black, and he kind of reminds me of Blue. Like he was raised in foster homes, and he had that experience, but he was raised in like Cleveland, Ohio. and then he moved to Atlanta, Georgia. So all of his life, like 20 freaking 7, 8, 30 years or whatever, he was only around black people. That's the only thing he experienced. And then he moved out here to Washington. So it's kind of like a culture shock for him to be like around white people and be like, it's a huge difference for him. So, but for me, it's normal because I've been in like both. So we do kind of clash when it comes to that, though. But it says black people don't practice Christianity the same way white people. Exactly, is way different. Exactly. Always thought toenail burgers. ACB. Are you a newscaster? Toenail burgers.
N-
It's a.
No, I'm not a newscaster.
It's like
Maybe I
people.
should, right?
You should. You got a great voice. You really do. You have a great voice. Yep. It say people try to push blackness on us and take often. It say but on us, but they often take it as a negative way of themselves. That's so true. So of course there's going to be a push away. People cause resentment and people self hatred. How it's self hatred? Yeah, people are always trying to say we're something that we're not. Like I don't know, it's so confusing. You know how people do that? How we're like, oh yeah, 1 minute we're black, and next minute no, mixed people are not. It's like always like a flip flop type of thing. So not all black people, but that's pretty common. Yep, that's so true. I'm trying to just get caught up in. That's why there are different words from different languages. You speak Creole. Exactly. I wish we had that though. I don't have that. I don't feel like I could claim Creole because I'm not from that region, but it is mostly people who like share my phenotype who are genetically mixed. But it's like I don't feel like I could claim being that because I'm not from there. Like that's not my culture. Like I never wanted to like claim a culture that I'm not a part of, even though we look the same. That's why I'm like I wish we could have like where I'm at, like Washington State, there's really no like culture like I could claim like out here. You know what I'm saying? There's just like it is like Louisiana. Like there's a whole culture established that I want to go visit there one day. I was talking about that. Like I want to really experience what that's like. So hold on, there's so many comments. Okay. All right. All right. I think that's anyway, sorry guys. So back to what I was saying about so, what do you toenail breaker? What do you feel about people like coming on the internet and trying to create their own culture? But then, there's so many clashes of like, people feeling this way about this white identity or feeling this way about their black identity, and then people getting offended and like it's causing a lot of division in our community. And so, what's your take on that? What is your opinion about that?
It's called a desperation of trying to fit in, of trying to be into something. You want to be accepted into something. There should be no confusement about an identity issue. When you have identity
Mm-hmm.
issues, that means something is done wrong from the day you were born. It
Mm-hmm.
has, and it's something that's basically coming from parents and society or the group that you want to affiliate yourself with, or you
Mm-hmm.
want to be recognized to be part of with.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found, I might be wrong. What I found is, again, I might be wrong, is that the majority of the individuals that have identity crisis are individuals who want to be accepted or trying to place themselves into black society rather than in white society where they are more acclimated towards. They feel displaced because that's just my opinion in regards to it. Rather than settling
Mm-hmm.
down, it's people who like they need a group in order to exist.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Okay,
exactly.
so if you have within yourself, in order for you to exist, you have to be part of a group, then something is definitely wrong with you. Then you have a problem.
Mm.
You have a
I feel like I
the-
have that problem. I feel like I wanted a group to belong to so bad. I don't know why. I feel like is that not normal? That's not like tribalism or what is that?
it's
Is that
it
not like
it
natural human instincts to feel
it
like
it it depends on how you are reared up.
mhm. I always feel like the outsider, and like I don't know, cause like where I'm from, like I've always felt like I was like part of like monoracial white communities, and then I moved to like a monoracial majority black community. So I've always felt like an outsider. Like I've always felt like I felt like I felt like there's always wonderful people in the community, but I've always felt like still like I don't know what it's like to have my I don't know what that's like. So I guess that's why I'm in these spaces because I'm trying to figure out well, what would that feel like to have my own little group of people because I just don't know what that would feel like. You know what I'm saying? To feel like I don't know.
Is it,
I think it's something I just wanted to experience. I don't know if that maybe there is something wrong with me because it's like I've always been searching for like a sense of unity for like so long. I feel like I can never find it because it's there's always gonna be division and infighting. No matter what group you go into, there's gonna be infighting and drama, and that's just human nature. But I don't know why. I've always, I don't know. Hmm.
When you get older, and I'm saying it to everybody else in this room,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to look back to all those years that why did I do such and such and this? Why was I trying to do this? And you're going to laugh at it. Seriously, you're going to really really laugh at it.
Right.
Here is the factor. Being part of that group is going to benefit you what? How is it going to make your life
Mm,
better? Is it going to make you more
true.
money? Is it going to make you a
No.
better human being?
Mm.
You
That's
see
what we
where I'm
gotta.
coming from?
Yeah, that's what. That's a great point. Like
Okay,
what?
it's when you grow older, you would realize and look back to see how much of a facade all of it was. You're focusing on being in a group that group is not going to benefit you anything. It's not going to
Mm,
make you into a better person or a better human being. It doesn't. Where's the ethics and the morals being taught in that group
mm,
that you can benefit from?
mm,
Explain that. Where is it going to
mm,
teach you to being a better mother or a better dad?
mm,
Where is it?
mm. Good point. You know what?
And
I do feel like I came into this group out of a sense of loneliness. You know, I wanted to just not feel lonely. I think that was like the whole point of that was that I think that's what it was about, you know what I'm saying? Cuz I do feel like, I have I don't know. You can't like I feel like you can't get everything you need out of one group. Like, some people George, or how he has like his spiritual community, he has like his church. And that's everybody. That's just not based on people being mixed. But he said, I like how he said it. He has them, but they share like a spiritual experience. And then he has this group, people who share like a worldly human experience because we all kind of share a phenotype. So it's kind of interesting.
oh,
It's
don't
like,
don't just stop there.
mm-hmm.
Don't just stop there. You have the whole world of different cultures for you to engage in. You
Yeah,
have East Asian, you have
exactly.
West
I
Asian,
love
you have
that. Yeah,
African, you have
exactly.
Caribbean, you have Spanish.
Mhm.
You have Middle Eastern. You can learn from all the different cultures, and there's value coming from every single one of these cultures. When I walk in my door, I take my shoes off at the door.
Mhm.
When I walk into someone's house, I take my shoes off at the door. They say, "No, no, you don't have to do that." I'm sorry, I have to do that. It's out of respect,
Mhm.
and is out
It's
of
beautiful.
respect. That is culture. And
Mhm.
then when I see someone in the morning and I'm out, I say good morning, good
Mhm.
afternoon, good evening, or I
It's
say good
beautiful.
night. That is culture. And then
Mhm.
also too is there is culture where there's ethic. There is where when you were taught or you have learned ethics and morals.
Yep.
Because again, you have these
That's
things to
important.
actually look at. So yes, it's don't limit yourself to one particular culture.
Right. I
Try
love
to
that.
engage with many different cultures. That means expanding your friend groups to Asians, to whites, to blacks, Africans, Caribbeans, Middle Eastern, and Arabs. Don't you'll be surprised how many Arab people out there, young Arabs, etc., would love to get to know somebody who is non-Middle Eastern, so they can culturally assimilate as well
I
too.
love that. Exactly. I love that. Thank you because it affected me a lot. You know how on the internet, cultural appropriation, and that affected me because I'm half white. So they were mostly talking about white. So I kind of felt like I kind of internalized that too. Like, oh, you know what? I can't really go around and try to, you can't claim other people's culture as your own, right? You know what I'm saying? That's why I felt like it was so important for us to build our own culture. So I don't gotta sit here and try to like I just never felt right trying to like claim somebody else's culture. I felt like because that's what people have said like on the internet so much about like it's wrong to like being a culture vulture or whatever. But I do think it's great to like experience and understand and learn and explore other people's culture. I think that's so important. That's not like sitting here claiming it like that's your own culture, but you could I do believe you could take on part like if you believe like this culture has great moral ethics, I do believe you could take that on and be like, okay, I want to. That's what humans are naturally supposed to do. We learn from each other, right? So I do believe in that, but it did affect me. Like, there's been so much like on the internet, like people bashing white people about like being a doing this, and I'm half white, so I kind of like just it affected me. So I love what you're saying so much. I do want to explore, and I don't want to limit myself or feel like I gotta like put myself in a box or I don't know. I love what you're saying. Thank you for saying that. I think it's a beautiful. Beautiful,
So,
beautiful.
so that's the most
Thing.
important for everybody to be able to understand. Stop limiting
Absolutely.
yourself. Stop limiting
Absolutely.
yourself, and just basically go out. If you want to learn about other different cultures, do it, because guess what? Learning from different cultures will make you a better person.
Absolutely.
There's always something to learn from other cultures that you can
Hmm.
assimilate into your own. So the question is, there you don't have to no one person is going to have you'll have a core culture, and what our core culture is for every single one in here, you acknowledge it or not, your core culture is Anglo,
Yeah.
because one, you're in the United States, we're Americans, so your core
Hmm.
culture is Anglo. One
Hmm.
of the beautiful things about it is you can attach all the various, you could be multicultural existing into one culture. You don't have to be
Exactly.
specific, you don't have to one particular groups, because where a culture lacks is empty, not having something of value, like ethics and morals that need to be taught, or
Right.
how to raise kids, or how to properly raise kids, or how to be a mom, or how to be a dad, a responsible dad. You can
Hmm.
learn from other cultures and
Absolutely.
bring that to the table.
I
So
love
I
it.
just wanted to be able to share that. It's not there is nothing to define. Of
Hmm.
course, you can always go out and engage, and just and engage, adopt whatever
Hmm.
it is that you learned into your own lifestyle and your own way of life, and just grow from that.
Absolutely. I love to do that through food too. We have the internet. You can go online. You could look up any recipe from every culture, and there's gonna be a recipe on it somewhere, and then you could like adapt that into your own. I love that. I love doing that through food. I think that's one of my favorite things to do. You know, and I love what you're saying. It's really good. It's really good. Like it's really helping me a lot. You're really giving me a lot of value about who we are. It's like it's about becoming better people. Like that's what we should do in this space. Like we're all trying to just be better people and explore and learn from each other. Like what we could be doing to help benefit our real lives. When we get offline, when we're not on the internet no more. I want to know that like what people have done for me in this space has helped me in my real life. So that's what I think we should be. And that's what I really want for us. And say, unfortunately, biracials don't know how to code switch. Will stick out more than different. They gave more difficult connecting with their cultures and gave yep, that's true. I do be code switching. I ain't gonna lie, like I do.
Yeah. I did a while back. I used to do it years ago, like 20, like 30, I will like 25 years ago. I used to do it, and
Mhm.
it just came up after a period of time. I stopped doing it, and I just told myself that if people can't accept me, I need to show myself and be genuine to myself, and that's how I felt.
Exactly. That's where I'm at too.
Whenever I had to code switch, I felt that I was coming out of my comfort zone to appeal to somebody else.
Right.
And but it comes with age. After you get older, it's more something more present with younger people, as they want
Mhm.
to be able to try to connect. But I
Mhm.
believe when you get older, though, you're
Yep.
going to stop that, and you're eventually you're going to stop, and then you're going to tell yourself, nah, there's no need for me to do this anymore. I'm just going to be myself, rather than have to stress yourself out anymore to try to communicate or connect with other people. If they can't connect with you in the 21st century, well, oh, tough luck for them.
Right.
And I've noticed that since I've taken that course, it's been a lot
Mhm.
more easier on me. But anyhow,
Yep.
I was coming in
Thank you so much.
just speak a little bit, and then
Thank you
I'm
so
going to have to go
much.
now. Thanks
Okay,
for letting
thank
us in.
you.
Appreciate it.
You have a wonderful day.
You
Thank
too.
you
Bye
so
bye.
much. So what I just like got from that whole conversation with him is we got to stop thinking like black and white. Like we could explore all different cultures and we could bring something new and fresh to the table, and we can not just be like black for we have to get out of this like black versus white mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to get out of it. We got to get out of that. Anybody want to come up here? Hold on. Let me drop the link real quick. Cause I just want to. I love what he's saying. Like we gotta explore ethics and different things and take them on. What's gonna be best for us, and not just always be black versus white. Culturally or whatever. I just want us to get out of that. That's so important for us. Let's see. Anybody else want to come up here? We're not mixed race. Code switching isn't switching values. It's how you exactly. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. We're not mixed race. We're not iguanas. Code switching is having double mind, and people who are double mind aren't stable. That's why it's true to. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah, we gotta stop giving a damn about folks trying to friggin'. I definitely agree with that. So anybody else want to come up here? Yeah, you're probably right, Bill. I'm gonna stop code switching. Yeah, let's stop. I mean, which is like how we're talking right now, how I'm talking right now. I'm gonna talk to everybody like this. I don't want to have to sit here. I don't know if it's natural because I don't know. I think it is natural, but it's something. It's like a subconscious thing. I think we can become aware of it and try to like catch it. Oh, somebody's coming up here. Just James. Hey, James. You be everywhere. What's up, James?
Hello. I'm making videos. I'm editing videos.
Oh, cool. Oh, what's up? How you doing? I like your comment. You said we're gonna create a code. I feel like I like this
I'm
conversation.
gonna
I really
I'm gonna make
appreciate
sure we
to
have a culture. Best believe that.
yeah, because we could all, we are still all gonna be different. Like no matter what, we gotta still accept differences. No matter what, like no matter
Of
like
course,
no two
that's
fingerprints
what
are
makes us
ever going to be the
unique.
same. That's what makes us unique. We got to celebrate differences as much as we can and uplift each other even though and learn about each other. That's what I think. It's just like having an open mind when it comes to like different. That's why I did all these streams about like the MGMs and like I wanted to learn about them. I never met nobody that was an MGM that said they're I never
I
I've
have,
never met a Blasian person. I've never really sat there and really had
I
like a real
have.
conversation about I haven't. That's why I'm open
Well, yeah,
minded to learning about like different people's experiences, different people's cultures. I
right.
feel like that
Different
that's what's
part.
gonna bring us together.
Yeah, different parts of this
It is
community
subconscious,
experience.
exactly. If it's intentional, it'll come off fake. It is a subconscious thing for real. Sometimes I feel like safe. I don't code switch. Sometimes I feel unsafe though if I don't. Oof, that's the thing. Yeah, because you'll because that's
Mulatto
like
mermaid. Hello.
people will make fun of you if you like sound white. That's a big thing. That's true, Gigi. It's hard for me to be accepted by the
Hey, I've
white
been
community.
watching
I
her
do act
content as
white, and if
well.
it's oh my god, I remember that struggle, girl. Oh my god, it was such a big culture shock for me when I moved from like the white community to the black community when I was 60. It was a huge culture shock for me, girl. I was like, it was so hard for me to adapt. It felt like, but I've met like some nice people, and I remember going rollers. We went rollerblading and the roller rink. It was so fun. I had a lot of fun. I just met some nice people in the community, and I had fun. So I didn't feel like they were I didn't feel like I have to like be somebody I'm not. Like that's the thing. You don't want to be around people where you don't want to act like something you're not to feel like you have to fit in with these people. Like always be around people who accept you for who you are. That's whatever group or community you be in.
Right. Oh yeah, tell her to come up.
Who want to come up here? I'm about to end it. I don't know how long I've been up here, but I think I
Well,
got
you've
some
been here
good
for 50.
oh, like
You've
an
been here for
hour.
50.
Okay, I might go a little longer.
Yes.
Say you're making a way for yourself. Exactly. When you come closer, you're basically telling people to be respect you as you are and not as you present in the time. Yep. I love that. Respect you as you are. That's what we gotta that's what thank you for saying that. See, I be having notes, but I be forgetting. I forget what I'm gonna say sometimes. But that's something I want to talk about. Being respected as we are, like I think we need to really, because when it comes to like legislation and like laws, I think we need to focus more on like social change and just like us, like in America, just being accepted for being mixed and not having to always sit here and conform to other people and always sit and have to like make everybody else feel comfortable and playing down our mixture and pretending like, oh no, I'm this, or always having to pick a side. Like that's what's
Mhm.
normalized for us right now. So I think that that's the best thing. I think what she's saying is the best thing we could be doing. We could just be exactly as we are, present ourselves exactly, be comfortable with who we are, love ourselves as we are, and make sure people respect us as we are. We don't have to sit here and conform to what you want us to be in order to be accepted. I'm not gonna do that no more. Like I'm not gonna play around. Like no, like you either you're gonna respect me or we can't fuck with each other. Basically, you know what I'm saying? That's all.
Right.
So.
If you respect me, either way.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
I love
would
all
love to
black.
be.
Me
Hey,
too. I like
I'm
Rico
ready to go
Nasty.
in war.
You ready to go to war? What are we going to war for? No, I think it's
No, I'm
more
talking
of
about
like
getting out. I'm talking
I
about
think
getting
it's
our own country.
I
I'm
think
ready to
I
do
think that it's more of like a social change that needs to happen. We just gotta make sure people respect mixed people that we're here, that we exist, that we're human beings. We're not gonna be dehumanized. Like we're gonna love ourselves as we are, and we're not gonna play it down. We're not gonna sit here and feel bad and have that mixed race guilt and feel bad about existing and people trying to shame. We're not gonna do that no more. You know, that's all.
I'm not trying to say that it's a bad thing. Well, okay, but the best way we can build culture is procreating, I guess.
We act both ways, which is what being biracial is. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I was saying. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm three people. I feel like I don't know. It's like I'm three people at once. It's crazy. So yeah, that's what it is. That's our experience. Like yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, creating our own shit, so we don't have to sit here always like conform to like other people's standards. I guess you know. So the more mixed race people do, the more people be aware of us and make our space exactly. We're not constantly exactly. Yeah, I agree. The best thing you do exactly, Jose. Thank you, Tio. It's a mulatto mermaid. They're not judgmental because they're used to being. Yep, facts, facts,
Right.
facts, facts. And most people would think you're trying to trick them. Oh yeah, that's true. That's why. Yeah, so true. Good thing you brought that up because that's why we have like a reputation. Like people feel like they can't trust us because it's like we're trying to trick people into like we're agents or something. Like you know what I'm saying? How that like historical, like you know how we have been weaponized by both communities. Like that's why I feel like there's a lack of trust within each community. So that's something we got to overcome. You know.
It's España.
I don't think I have two identities. I have one that was influenced. Exactly. That's what I want. I feel like I had two. I feel like I was like bicultural, you know? I was raised in like two different, completely opposing different cultures. So it was like, I try to find like a balance. Like, how do I blend these two together so I could feel like I'm one whole being, you know? That's something I'm on a journey with trying to integrate my different heritages.
Yes, we can sing songs, form bands, regular things, I guess. Build
And tell
castles.
the stories of our
But
peoples.
nobody really gonna no nobody gonna really take our thing serious unless we form as a group and we come
Right?
together, which we doing as a community right now, and we
Yeah.
start
I think we're
building
doing
our own
good.
country. We
I
start
think
building our own country, and we can start, you know, doing the
mhm.
right thing. Building culture, building food. Because most of the time people in America, well, we're in America right now, and well, our parents
Mhm. Yep.
America, so biracial or mixed race. Um, but yeah, um,
Oh,
they
hold on, let me
well,
turn it down. Let me turn it down. Hold on, how do I turn this shit down? I'm sorry.
they're really gonna take their race serious. Well, in most cases, and I have no problem with that.
Yeah, we
But you
gotta take
gotta
ourselves
respect our,
seriously,
you gotta
right?
respect us, and yeah, well, that's what I'm telling people. We need to take this
Hi,
serious
Futures
as
Golden.
possible.
Oh, there's a spider I gotta kill. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Let me see. Let me say hi to everybody. Hi, Futures Golden. Well, in my experience, mixed people are already blended well. We just over. I think we do overthink it. Maybe I overthink it. I just gotta
I
just live
don't.
my life. I gotta just live my life and just.
No, I'm building us a culture. I'm building us a country. I'm taking this serious,
That's
and I'm making
good.
sure that happens.
That's good. I just okay. What I want to do in this space,
Hey,
I want to
us men
contribute.
can build. What makes a
Yeah,
man?
men are building. I'm supporting.
We
I'm
can
supporting the
build.
men. Yeah, men are builders. You know, I'm
We
definitely gonna
support the
support
women,
them.
and I
And
support the women. I don't care about this fucking gender war.
oh no, yeah, I support the men in our space, and I support the women in our space, and I love like we come together. We're having these conversations. We're having these tough conversations that need to be had, so we can work through our issues, and we could you know, we could work through things. We could talk through. We need communicate. Communication is key to building because you need good communication. If you guys are not, if we're not all on the same page and know what we want and know who we are and where we're going and what our roles are and what positions we're
Right.
playing and we all need that communication to know what's what and what's going on together. So that's kind of what I want to do. I just want to come here and just have those conversations and try to have to get us to think and get
You
us
see,
to you know
Russia. They have a big old community. They
oh
one
yeah.
of the biggest landscapes in the world.
Yep. No one
Uh,
should fear a strong woman. Period.
right.
Period. I agree with that. I agree with that. I love our women. I love our men, and I support both of
Salute
them.
to the
I
women.
love yeah, I
Salute
love
to us
both.
men.
Yep. And I've always been like that. I just like good people, if you're a good person, you got a good heart. I've always been like that. I just like to support good people I know they got their heart in the right place and they're a good person, and I'll support good people, that's all. There's a lot of good people in our spaces that are awesome. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end it on that. Is there anything else? Hold on. I know I
Why?
miss every time I write these notes. I always okay.
Wait, can you get some more people to come up here?
Oh, I wanted to talk about something real quick. Nobody want to come up here. People are busy right now. I did this
Guys,
at the
come
wrong
on.
time.
Guys,
Folks is
LOL, come on.
busy. I know Jose. Jose, you trying to come up here real quick? I got a
Jose, what's up?
question. So I was talking about this in my Discord. So supposedly today is like National Senior Citizen Day, and then they were like showing all these recipes that like the grandparents were like passing down their culture to like their grand. And I feel like I kind of jealous of that. Like I feel like I never really had like a strong bond with like either one of my grandparents. I'm like a first generational biracial person, and I feel like that does cause a disconnect from your ancestors. Like in my spiritual
I'm kind
community,
of
it's
not,
all
but I'm kind of
about
weird.
like in the spiritual community I was in, it was all about like honoring your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? They're a very big part of you. But it was always a joke, like if you're half black and half white, and it's like your ancestors are always going to be fighting with each other, or like you know what I'm saying, trying to yeah, it was always like a funny joke like
They can
in that
never be out
community.
of love, right? These
Yeah.
people are
Oh, look, here
sick.
go Jose. Thanks,
These people are
Jose.
sick.
Hey,
Hello,
Well,
Jose.
Hazel.
good evening. Thank you for allowing me on your platform. I know I've been missing your streams. It's just that I've been occupied and I really cannot stay long. And
Thank
to
you for
be
being
honest,
here.
well, thank you. I mean, the reason why I didn't join because it's not really something that I'm not that familiar. The only thing I'm going to say is that people should love themselves for whom they are. You know,
Period.
and the fact of the matter is, there's no one like you in the world. That's what makes it so wonderful. There's no one like James. There's no one like Magic. There's no one like me.
Yes. Love it.
Right.
I love it. We
And
should
That's what.
celebrate
That's
that.
what. Jose. That's what. I love about you. You cool.
Jose's awesome. We love Jose. We
thank
sure
you.
do. That's our TO right there. Honey Rose said, "Why are some people threatened by strong women? I feel like they feel unneeded. I guess it's odd that they base their worth on women making themselves infantile. Is that the word? Infantile? Yeah, infantile.
Oh,
Honestly,
okay.
excuse my
Well,
language, but I don't.
There's
Well,
no
excuse
gender
my
war.
French.
I agree
I
with
don't care.
you. I agree with you, Golden Goddess.
The only people who,
You know.
the only people who care about that is the people who hate the other gender. Like it
Yeah,
makes
nobody. Yeah, most normal, regular people aren't freaking don't hate the other gender. Like if you're
right.
normal,
I
regular,
love my
you go to
opposite.
work, you're just a regular person. If you have a relationship, most of us are like in relationships, and I don't hate. Like no, that's not something. But I think I asked this question to somebody, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know. They feel so threatened by like the boss, like the whole like masculine women. They feel like masculine women, and they're always gonna clash with each other, and they're gonna become. I don't freaking that's why I
well,
don't even think about stuff like that. That's something a lot of men have brought up in like different internet, but that's something I don't even really know about. So, mm.
actually, I recently did a stream on my platform regarding feminism. So what I did was I disclosed what was the original intent of feminism, which was, to make sure that women get rights that men have, like the right to vote, the right to own property, the right to discipline the children, the right to do what they wish with their individual bodies, of things of that nature.
Right.
Unfortunately, what happened is you got some extreme form of feminism, and people
Yep,
use that as the normal feminism. That's not the
yep,
case.
yep, yep. It's like yep. It always gets
We already
freaking.
know this. We should have hit a woman. We should have hit a man.
Oh, it's like every movement always gets like
Well, let's they doing too much, or unless
yeah.
they put their hand in you first. That's it.
It's like yeah,
But
every
unless they doing
movement.
that, you shouldn't put your hand on anybody.
every movement has like its extremist, right? And it's like you got to be so careful because balance is everything. You got to have like a balanced level head when it comes to like anything, right? You got to like be able to see both sides. You got to like because when you're extremist, it's like you're only like you're blindsided. But usually by emotions, like you're usually emotionally charged, and like emotions could blind your judgment a lot at the time, you know. So we got to be careful about that. And our little mixed race movement, you know what I'm saying? Because that's why I'm always trying to encourage people to like heal. Like, of course, we've all been hurt by like things like people have said in the black community about us, about like, you know, we felt the rejection in both communities. That's why I'm always trying to encourage people to heal because that's how you have like a level head and you could be balanced.
I
If
mean,
you're
I
if
don't
you're
really care what other races think about us. Who
exactly,
cares about them anyway? Well, I
that's
mean, some of them are good, I guess. Yeah,
but you gotta not
I
come
care
from a
about people
place of
with
hurt. Just make sure like that's why I'm always trying to encourage people to like heal so you're not in the space like always coming from a place of hurt, you know what I'm saying? Because that could blind your judgment a lot of the time. So it's like it's time we gotta
just
process what
basically
we've
put
been through.
emotions and
We yeah,
put
we have to
emotions.
process it. We gotta like just like, you know, admit like this has hurt me and you gotta process it instead of holding on to the hurt forever. Like anger biracial, he said he got it off his chest what he dealt with and what he wanted to express himself. And he did. And now he's ready to move on. He don't want to stay in that place of anger
Right,
and hurt forever, you know?
already to
Hi,
build.
Brown and
That's what I'm doing.
Beige.
Jose, you coming to our country?
A what?
You coming to our new country?
Is there a place
Why
for
were
me in your
you
new country?
James, why were you laughing like that on the other stream? You were laughing. That shit was crazy. I was like, oh my god. Was that trolling or we
No,
all coming hot and
no,
Um,
heavy?
that was just
Yeah,
cracking me
exactly.
up.
I agree with that. Totally. I know
Just
I
cracking
did.
me up.
Yeah, we sure do. That's
but
facts. We do.
but you
And this
but you
is
know what I'm sorry.
go ahead.
But you know what I found out that that Hyper has in his file some of my videos,
Oh, he
which is
do?
like yeah, which is
Oh
like
Lord.
so now you're good. So now you're going to critique what I say. Go ahead. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Criticism, yeah.
why? Because I
I'm open
create
to
a space.
criticism too. But I like
Why?
your
Because
space,
well, I try to keep it a safe place for everyone to express their point of view.
right?
Which is
But like
good.
And
Gigi said, you never know who's in here. Like I don't really feel like in no place on the internet could be like a safe space 100% because you never
Right.
know. Like you never know who was on the other side of you. We don't
Probably
ever know.
popping up.
I
Yeah,
know,
I
but
try to
I
be.
know.
Little shit for
Oh,
you, Spam.
I like your space because you show who you are. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that helps like with the safe space because it's like okay, you show who you are. And I try to do the same thing. I try to be open and honest about who I am as possible. You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
show my hair.
I but yeah, like I try to do that. And I need somebody funny come up here so they can make I'm not that funny, but somebody
Don't show
funny
my
come up
hair.
here and make James laugh because that junk would have me dying. I was like
Well, you know,
cracking the fuck
well,
up.
the fact of the matter is, on Gigi stream, everyone saw Hybrid having a complete meltdown with the ladies. I mean, it's
Who
it
just
was.
trolling?
I mean, it was pure classic cringe on his part,
Damn.
and you know, just the
It's
fact that
sad.
the
Shake
fact
my
they call
head.
any woman that disagrees with a feminist. Okay, so in other words, you cannot deal with a strong lady who has a point of view.
Right. It's like these people sick. People freaking sick.
Yep. Yep. I don't know why people are so threatened by women's opinions. What's wrong with
They
that?
want to go back into that whole back in the days, traditional sense when women couldn't
Hello,
have rights
Nightbot.
and stuff
Why
like
people
that.
so
Well,
scared? Like, dang. I
well,
know I'd be
with
what you
well
saying?
with me, I'm actually almost every stream I go on, I ask the ladies if they have any topics that they want me to cover, to please hit me up and on my IG because your point of view does matter, and I really want the ladies to come to come to my platform to just to make sure if I if I give any information that's not accurate, at least that way it could be spell checked, because I don't want to give false information.
Yep. I love that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna participate more. But I love what you said, Honey Rose. Yeah, because in my little spiritual communities that I've been part of, your ego is your sense of self. So if you have a weak sense of self that's like threatened by somebody, just like your belief systems and stuff like that. So you have a certain set of belief systems, and somebody comes and challenge that. It's like they take it personally, and they're challenging like who they are. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely see what you're saying. So we definitely got to work on it. We got to have a strong sense of self and who we are, so we
Right.
don't have to always be threatened by people challenging our belief systems or our ideas or anything of.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, guys,
I think women should have rights. I think men should have rights. I think everybody should have rights in their opinions and talking points and all that good stuff. Because you can't have a community without people spreading their own
their own.
beliefs,
Yeah, this is all we're doing in this.
talking
Yeah,
points. Yeah,
we're all just talking
all
to
that
each
good.
other.
Yeah.
Just
In
Hmm.
fact,
communicating.
in
You can't be
fact,
a content creator worry about what period. You can't please everyone. Period. Exactly. You
in
gotta just
fact, to
do
be
what feels right to you. Well,
yeah.
go ahead.
In fact, Magic. In fact, to have a strong lady as your life partner is an asset, because what that means is she's going to if both of you are on the same place, she's going to back you 1,000%. So men, strong men should not fear strong women.
Yep, I agree.
We should be companions,
We should be
but
companions. Yeah, we're compatible. We should
I
Yep, I
guess
agree with you.
that no, it's not the strong men who do that. It's the weak men who can't face the strong women's heat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nightbot, chill. What's Nightbot doing? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I love this stream. I think it was a great discussion. I appreciate everybody coming up here. I really I love doing this. I love talking to everybody. I love it. And yeah,
But how about
I want
the
to talk
night bot
about my
crazy?
next stream. We need to talk about mental health in our community and making sure we're all taking care of our mental health
Mm-hmm.
appropriately. We gotta take that
So I
seriously.
think most of us have kids
Yeah, most of us have
or on that
kids.
way to have having kids.
Yep. And we gotta make sure that mentally healthy and mentally stable. That's very important for us.
Actually, I'm gonna make a video about. I know people don't care about this man, but I'm making a response to Black Skin is amazing because he was talking about my wife and stuff like that.
All right. So yeah, everybody subscribe to James. Subscribe to Jose. I love y'all. I love my community. And y'all have a wonderful, blessed day. I'll see
But
y'all. I'll probably do another
God bless.
stream in a couple days. I love this discussion. I think it was positive. I think it was productive. And I loved it. And I love y'all. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful
I'm
day.
gonna go eat me some fried chicken
Okay.
Eat
Well,
some fried
thank you,
chicken.
Magic.
Of
with some
course.
Magic.
Bye,
Thank
watermelon.
you very
y'all.
much.
Love y'all.
Thank you very much
Bye.
for having me. Good night. Good night,
Good
guys,
night.
and good night,
Bye.
everyone in the chat. Bye.
Night, night.